The 911 call goes into the police department, and they do a screening, and
is that, excuse me, a uniformed officer that receives it?
yes, yep. And then if it's for a fire or ambulance, they'll transfer that call to the dispatcher that's at the fire department. So there is a duplication there. One of the things,
And
yeah,
you do it, and then you can.
one of the things the governor has funded this year, a central 911 center to be built in Middlesex, where it will be staffed by all civilians professionally trained in the 911 duties. This is in California. I think they have 3 or 4 911 centers in the entire state. In Massachusetts, we're very parochial, but one of the things, Gloucester, my position is that we need to pursue and become a participant in the regional 911 center and kind of get on that bandwagon. And the list is closed right now, so I met with Sheriff Cousins actually last week, who's overseeing it, to see if we can get Gloucester on the list. So that frees up some manpower. It also streamlines the calls, reduces the number of transfers possible, and enhances, I think, the training and equipment that Gloucester right now doesn't have the resources to provide. So that's the short version on that. But that's something I think is inevitable in the future of Massachusetts, and I support it for Gloucester. You know, this is where the dilemma comes in to I don't care what department we're talking about. In our expense environment, in our revenue environment, where the expenses are going like this and the revenues are going like that, we're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. So the question, well, where should we cut? Should we close the library? How about we just completely close the senior center, and how about another school? I mean, that's what this comes down to. So it's not, there are no easy answers until tax policy is modified, until people are willing to step up and reach into their own pockets more, which is highly unlikely in this environment, because I know my husband was on furlough last week. So that's the climate that we are living in right now.
Carolyn, I mean, there's talk among people that you take a resource like O'Malley, and you make that the city center. You put all city offices on O'Malley. I mean, you're renting so much property. You're renting the K building. I mean, you know, the Harbor-Master rents Mass Electric building. I mean, these may be little things,
right?
But they're also things that can be. I mean, is there ever talk about?
It's the Fuller School right now is the one that's available. O'Malley.
But the Fuller School is I have friends that have children in O'Malley School. Yeah. And they don't even like going there because they think it's a dungeon.
Right. I have a 6th grader there, so.
There's no windows. They feel. The Fuller School. I went to the Fuller School as a high school student. It's open. It's a beautiful facility. Maybe it's more uplifting to the kids, but it's.
Yeah. The school committee voted to affirm O'Malley as the middle school just over a year ago. The original plan that when I was on the school committee was to make that switch and have middle school be at Fuller, but the new committee that came in overturned that, and they affirmed O'Malley as the location for the middle school. I doubt very much that'll get revisited. I mean, I'm just being candid with you.
Is that a legitimate fiscal decision? I mean,
you know, it was. It was Fuller was not quite big enough for the entirety of the middle school, so that would have been, you know, some renovation costs. And the superintendent made a very, very strong case for staying in O'Malley. And there's probably a report somewhere on the school website articulating his arguments. And that was a tough one for me because I didn't support that, but then when I knew that that was going to be the will of the committee, I voted for it so that we would have a unanimous vote, because that's so important where your child goes to school. And wanted the community to know that the committee was behind it, including myself. And I stand by that, and I doubt it's going to be revisited. My 6th grader is there, and you know, it's about the kids and math and Mr. what's his name for science. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes as a parent, I look at the facility and I kind of groan. But as long as he's doing well and he's learning and he's progressing, that's what I think we need to stay focused on, and those things are happening.
Yeah, but Jack's question had to do with centralizing.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Fuller School is the school that could possibly take place. Right now, Fuller School is in the hands of the school committee. They control its destiny. For the city to do anything, the school committee has to declare it surplus. And if you recall, Plum Cove School was mothballed for 10 years and was never declared surplus by the school committee. And lo and behold, it's an elementary school that supports this neighborhood, and it's thriving with a new expansion on it. So there's that real reluctance. And so we have a facilities committee. Sarah Black, the community development director, has got a facilities committee, and she's looking at all of the facilities, every single office that we have, where we're paying leases, the timeframes of those leases, where it makes sense, what just makes no sense to put. I think everything should be done in DPW because we own the land. That's an idea, but it's just off the top of my head. But the facilities committee is being much more thorough and careful about it. And that's true. Thank you, David. Yeah. Okay. The harbor master of DPW might not work, but we are looking at that. Yeah.
I'll try to say this thorny thing in the most least emotional but most direct way, and I don't think there are too many people who would disagree. We live in a tough time, and all of this and everything you hear in the news and everything people experience here in their families or indirectly. People in Lanesville tend to want to accept some responsibility. That's how this community center runs. That's how emergency response. So it's not about passing the buck, but so I know they're thorny, and I heard the issue about time. So they're all emotional. But
Right.
one thing that's clear to me is that there have been some real management issues at the city level that everybody's known about. The fire chief and the police chief. You can't run organizations